Oh, hello there! Welcome back. I'm Lhugueny, and I thought today I could share a little information with you about how to animate. So, we will do multiple parts, and starting now with the first, which is how to design and rig a character. Now, when I say that, I mean we are going to design the character, but instead of just doing one drawing, we will draw every body part that moves separately in a separate layer. Now, I must preface this by saying there's no right or wrong way to animate, and I've done it several ways myself. This is just the most common way that I use, and that's about it. Let's just jump right into it. Now, before we do, I just need to say there's two pieces of equipment you need. You need the program Adobe Flash and a computer. One more thing which could help is to have a drawing tablet like this so you can draw directly onto the screen, though it is not always necessary. It is difficult with a mouse, but still possible, and it's always a good time to start. So, without much further ado, let's do this. The first thing that you must do is to open Flash, of course, and then this menu will pop up, and you will have recent items. Here I have some items from my previous animated project I did, Spider-Man Homecoming the Musical, but for now we are going to open a new file, so we shall open Flash File Action Script 3.0 here. Okay. Now, the next step is to resize the files, and I like to just have all my file sizes set to 1920 by 1080. So if we go here to Document Properties, we'll change the width to 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. And that's the sort of standard HD file size that works well. You can obviously go to like 4K resolution, but that could definitely slow down your workflow if you're on an older computer like myself. And I have the frame rate at 24 frames per second, and then click OK, and we can start animating here. Now, I would recommend immediately saving the file. So click Apple S, or you can go to File, Save. And now I already have my file set up, so I have my shows. The good thing is to have good file management to make it easy for yourself. So I go to shows. This is how I've set it up for myself, at least, and it's under Auto-Tune Cinema because that's sort of my nickname for the movie musicals and the video game musicals I produce on this channel. And now I will go to How to Animate Part 1. And I will save this as a character who I will name Fox Cunningham. I'm going to make myself a fox. Cartoon fox here. Now, also before we get moving, I'll like to change my brush size to the smallest. There we go. And I also would like to change my pen size to the smallest. Makes the animation look a bit crisper, in my opinion. Of course, you can do it however you like. And, of course, you should also go to the gradient fill here and switch it to close large gaps, because that makes it so that when you make a line and you fill it, you don't necessarily have to make all the lines perfectly connected, and the program will still know where to fill. Well, it's not working here well for my example, but damn. Okay. Well, anyways, the program tends to be a lot more finicky if you don't have that set. So just go ahead and set that. Now, I will start. This is what you should do it your own way if you would like to, but I am going to go and begin by drawing the head of my character. You want to draw the head, but you don't want to draw any eyeballs yet. You also don't want to draw any eyelids, or no mouth, and no eyebrows. So step one, I'm going to write it down here, so I'm doing it. Draw a face with no brows, no mouth, no pupils for the eye, and no eyelids. And this will make sense later, so let's just go ahead and start this now. So I'm going to draw this character, Fox Cunningham. So I'm going to start with his eyes. I like to start with the eyes. Oh. Pen tool is really not doing what I intended here. Smooth that out. You can use the eraser tool, of course, to smooth that out. It's right up here. I'm using the brush tool right now. Draw a little nose here. Some ears. Some fluffy head of hair. The other ear. And perhaps some fluffy whiskers there. Put some whiskers on the side as well, maybe just 2. And fill this line there. Now, I think I'm going to use the pen tool to make some more refined lines for little things like his ear holes there. I call them ear canals. Oh, bloody hell. And maybe I'll give him some diverse color on his face. So what I'm going to do is use the line tool there to make a thinner line for where the hair changes color. Now delete the lines where they protrude, sort of clean this up. And now I'm going to do the color. I think I'll have the inside of his face be white, which is hard to see because the background is white, but yes, as you can see, it's filled there. And I think I'll give him a nice cute orange coat on the exterior. And of course I should also make his eyeballs white. Give him a cute little button black nose. Maybe I'll add a little sort of white shine on his nose. And I think to add some nice shadow to his ears, what I'm going to do is use a different line color. I selected red because it's easy to see. And sort of generally sort of outline where I want the edge of the color to change. Now I'm going to highlight. Oops. Daisy, highlight. Oh god, I don't know why it's not able to do what I normally set it out to do. There we are. I'm going to highlight the color in the sort of box I've created here, and I'm going to select the fill color, which is orange, and make it a slightly dark orange. So I'm going to grab the hue lever here and pull it down. And now highlight those red lines and delete them. You double click if you want to select the entire thing, so you don't have to go through and do chunks at a time. Now that we've done that, I'm going to highlight the face by just, if you look down here, you have your timeline and layer bar down below here. And I'm going to click this, and I'm going to highlight all of his head, and then I'm going to go up here to modify, convert to symbol. And you want to put in the name of your character here, so Fox Cunningham. Perfect. So now you have this symbol, and you see you can sort of drag it around, and this will make sense later, but this is important. Now, double click on that, and now again you have the highlighted head, and if it's not, go ahead and highlight it. And now double click on layer 1, and type, you want to label this, because it'll make animating easier, it'll make sense later, and type in head. Now highlight it again, and modify, convert to symbol once more. And this is going to create a separate layer for the head within the layer of the character itself. So to Fox head. And before I go into the head layer here and finish off his head, I'm going to press the Q button. So press Q on your keyboard. And now pick this middle part, and this will be where the layer swivels. So I'm going to move it down to where his sort of head will attach to his body, because then if you make it that you swivel his head, it'll be look proper, because it'll be where the attachment is to his body. Now double click, and we will go in here, and I'm going to rename this the head layer. Not head, pardon me, the face. this sort of menu on the bottom is distracting me. I'm just going to see if I can remove that. There we are. And we have the face, and now we can go ahead and... Oh, bloody hell, that keeps popping up. I'm going to move up this toolbar because it's activating another toolbar that's distracting me. Now, going to add a layer, and we shall call this the pupils layer, and we'll use that to create the eyelid. Now, you can either do something more simple, like just create little dots for the black eyes, which of course you can do. What I like to do is I like to add color to the eyes, and so what I'm going to do is press O for oval, and I'm going to pick a sort of, if you go down here to your choice of colors right here, the gradient on the color toolbar, and I'm going to pick, I like a nice green. I'm going to pick green, and then I'm going to make the edge of the eyes. You want a color gradient here, so you can select what the inner color will look like. I want it to be a nice bright green, and the outer color is automatically set to black, but I want it to be set to sort of just a darker green there, so I'll move that on the color lever. And so now we will press O, and as we create the oval, hold down Shift, and that will make it so, because if you don't hold down Shift, see, it'll sort of move into anything, but we want a perfect circle. And so we pull it out. And I accidentally left the red color for the line, so there'll be a line that will also come up, so I'm just going to delete that. And there we have the pupil, but we need the black of the inside. So we'll do another oval, but this time we'll set it to black. We'll make it a bit smaller than the rest of the eye, and we'll bring it in there. And sometimes I even like to have a little bit of shine, because if you look in people's eyes, you know, they have shine from whatever light source is coming and lighting them. So do one more oval, and this time we'll make it even smaller, and it will be white, and we will insert that into the corner of the eye there. And now we need a pupil for the other side, and we'll keep it in the same pupils layer here, and what you'll just do is highlight your eye, and Command-C, or File, or excuse me, Edit, Copy, and then Edit, Paste in center. Or you can do Command-C to copy and then Command-V on the keyboard. It will save you a lot of time to learn those keyboard shortcuts. Make the eyeball a little bigger, because at least that's how it is on mine, but do it however you want on yours, of course. And, okay, we're done here. Actually, I want to fix something on the face there. That chunk of ink is a little too fat for my liking. Fix that. Alright, now, to create a separate, one more layer. You can do that by clicking down here, if I didn't mention that, for new layer. Double click, change it from layer 3 to lids. That will be the eyelids we're going to do. So, go, to make it easiest on myself, you want to replicate the exterior of the eye. So I'm just going to click on the ink that that goes around his eyes there. You don't want to select the actual color inside. Do the same for both. And now I will do edit, copy, and under the lids, you want to do edit, and this time copy in place, so it goes exactly over, and this will make sense in a second. Paste in place. Now, I want to go to modify, convert to symbol. I want to do Fox lids. Right now, this layer is set to loop. You actually want to do single frame, and that'll make sense when you do the animation, because you want to select different eyelid positions, which we're about to do. But, yes. But you don't want them playing, because otherwise they'll just play all the ones we're about to make, and that will look like some sort of nightmare. So let's double click on this symbol we've created. Now, we're going to create several layers, so press F6, or you can do for a new frame. Or it might be, let me see if that's what I always do it, but you might be using a different version of Flash. How did I do it? Well, anyways, I believe it's F6 or it's Command 6, or just the number 6, but for my computer it's F6, so press it 4 times. And now, on layer 1, you'll keep the same, frame 1. Now, frame 2, you want to create sort of low-level lids on the top and bottom. I have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. And now for the next one, you want to do it sort of... oh, and you can press the onion skin tool down here. Onion skin, press that. And use the levers here, the little buttons here next to where I'm pointing. And pull them in just one frame away each side. That'll make it easier because they're set to 2 frames aside. And then you want to use the line tool. Well, you don't have to use the line tool. You can also use the ink tool if you want to do lids your own way. But I like to just do it this way. And don't do it all the way closed, but do it sort of halfway between the last ones and closed. There we are. And now finally on the 4th one, we will just do closed. And we're going to color these in the same color that we did for the skin. I believe this is... there we are. I did the wrong color at first. If you don't remember the color you did for the skin offhand of the face, go back, go to face, and select the eyedropper tool right here. And click on the color, and then it will come up in your fill tool there. So then you can just apply it. Let's go back in the lids. We're not finished. Here. Now, copy layers 2 and 3. So we'll create 2 new layers, delete them, and then take layer 2, paste it on layer 5, and layer 3, copy and paste it on layer 6. This makes sense in a second. You want to go ahead, because we're doing all the eye positions, so then that they're already done, then we can just select the layer numbers when we're animating. So delete the bottom part on both of these, and then do it again, copy layer 2 and put it on layer 7. And number 3 onto layer 8. But this time, instead of deleting the bottoms, delete the tops. So then now we have a full range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Different motions of eyelids that we can work with when we're animating to do it more quickly and efficiently. Then we'll go back. So you can, when you're in the lid layer, you click up here to go back to the head layer. Now let's create the eyebrows. And create one new layer here. And of course you want the lids to be on top of the pupils, because of course when you close the eyes they'll go over those. And you want them in order of what's on top of what, and then the brows on top of both of those. The mouth doesn't really matter. But you want the brows over the lids in case the brows come down sort of slightly over the eyelids. And now the last layer, the mouth. Okay, I'm just going to have a sip of water here. Speaking of mouths, mine is a little bit dry. Alright, now for the mouth, you want to start with a closed mouth. You make it either sort of happy or sad. Start with happy on mine. Actually, I think I'll put it... no, it's like that. Now what you want to do is highlight the mouth. And one last time, convert... well, probably not the last time, but again, convert to symbol. And do fox, or whatever your character's name is, mouth. And just like with the lids, we want to go to the looping settings here and switch it to single frame. Excuse me. Now double click on the mouth layer. And now we're going to do all the different mouth poses so that then it's easier, so we don't have to redraw them when we're lip syncing later in the animation phase. So we're going to do 11 different mouth movements. Now well, the first one you want, so we're going to create the new frames here. Create 11 frames. And so for number 1, it's closed. Number 2, you can actually just copy number 1 for numbers 2, 3, and 4. Because actually the top of the mouth tends to remain in the same place unless it's really exaggerated, which will be number 5. But for 1 through 4, the top of the mouth actually stays the same, so then you can just sort of add parts to the bottom of the mouth. So here, with frame 2, we will add the bottom of the mouth slightly open, and, yeah. And you want to add, well, at least for my character, depending on how you designed yours and where you put the mouth, I need to sort of create the jaw coming down there. And I'm going to put in lines here so I can fill in the color and delete the lines later. So that's number 2. Number 3, use the onion skin to see what your previous one looks like. So for number 3, I want it even more open than number 2, because we're going to sort of, for the first 5, just do open mouth, just so you can get the motion done. So if somebody holds a letter like ah for a long time, you can sort of not just have the mouth just sitting open in one position, you can have it sort of slowly open up 5 different frames. So, and unlike the last one, you actually want some tongue, because it's open enough to see tongue, because I find that helps. Use the lines again to fill the color there. And number 4, even more so. And this time, I'm going to add some teeth up top. So I want to start connecting the teeth. It sort of helps bring it all together. At least when you're doing a traditional character. I mean, a character might be a robot or something that doesn't need teeth, but in this case, I'm doing an animal, which tend to have tongues and teeth. And number 5 here, I will actually adjust the top and make it even higher up and make the bottom even lower. This will be like the most exaggerated mouth position. And I'll even do, pardon, I have some trouble with the teeth on top here. I'll even do some teeth on the bottom. And finish the jawline there, and add the line for the color fill. All right. I mean, I do all the colors afterwards. I just want to get all the line work done. I find it's more efficient to do the line work and then go back for the color. And now, number 7 you can actually just copy and paste number 6. But what you want to do is delete the insides of the mouth. And this will be more for sort of a pronounced sort of E, or when people sort of making a grr sound. And it's getting closer. You want the teeth to be almost closed from the top and the bottom, covering up the tongue. And finally, for number 7, you can copy and paste number 3, but delete the tongue, and we will just have it be teeth, just like frame number 2. Now, the bottom menu came up again, got rid of it there. Now, for frame number 8, we're going to start working our way towards an O. So we'll sort of not go to a full oo, but we'll sort of go halfway there. We'll keep the tongue and some teeth on top. So when you transition from something else with tongue or teeth, it looks a little more fluid when you're flowing your lip syncs to the ooh sounds. And now we're going to do the hard ooh. Yes. There we are. And finally, the last 2 important ones to do are the teeth being bitten, the lower lip being bitten on by the upper teeth, which for the F or the V sounds. So for that, I find it efficient to just take frame number 2, copy and paste it into number 10, and then just go ahead and have the tooth biting into the lower lip there. Like so. And then there's just one last mouth movement. We're going to copy and paste frame number 4 into frame number 11. And the one thing you need to do is to delete the tongue, and we're going to do our L sounds. So put the tongue and stick it in the top of the mouth, because think about how you make the sound L. Your tongue touches the top of your mouth. And now we are done with this first set of mouth movements. So, I'm just going to make my character happy, but if you'd like, if you need a range of mouth movements, you can basically repeat these, but instead, and just continue them onto frames 12 through 22. and do all the same ones, the same procedure, except for do the opposite, like sad face. So right now I have a happy face, do sad face, or if you started with sort of down face, like so, then you do happy like I have now. So I'm going to fill in my color now. I'm going to start with all the orange and go through all the frames. Fill in all the orange here for the chins. There we are, almost there. Having trouble. Doesn't actually matter, it's orange anyway under there. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and delete the lines that helped me fill the color. Almost done here, working my way through the R sounds. Now, while I do this, let me remind you that once we're done with this process, I'd love it if you would send me on social media, either Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, your characters, and I would love to see them and share them on my platforms. I'd like to see what other people's similar interests are producing. Of course, I'd be more than happy to know that I helps someone try something new. Okay, now I'm going to fill the back of the mouth, or just sort of like a dark red. It's dark in there. Usually the inside of the mouth is pink, but the light is so bad that it ends up being red. Dark red. Button. Okay, and let me see. Did I do the teeth? Yes, I did. I just got to do the tongue, so I'll do like a pinkish, light pink. Okay, so congratulations, we finished our head. Now let's go back out to the head layer and even further out to the character body. So we have the head here. So now we want to create a new layer. Put it below the head and call it body. Now, you can use this tool to see where the head is, but sort of, since the body is below the head, under it, you want to be able to see sort of what you're drawing nonetheless. So I'm going to turn the head, use this tool here, and if you press it, it's right next to the lock button on the layer, and it makes the head transparent, but you can still see it. Now, use my brush tool and create Fox's body. Sort of a little bean shape there. And I think I'll give him a little tummy. Color around his tum. And I shall make his body orange like his head and maybe give him sort of a light. Oh no, I'll give him white. Just like his head. Put the color back on his head. And I shall click his body and modify, convert symbol, and call it Fox body. Alright. Now I'm going to create a new layer, and this one will be on top of the head. Keep it there, and we'll type it as front arm. So the arm is going to be in front of the body. The other one will be sort of behind it, because he's sort of at a, not fully straight on looking at us. So the other arm will sort of protrude behind. But right now I'll do the front arm. I'm going to put vector lines here. That's what it's called. Pardon me, I can remember what it's called before. When we make the layers sort of transparent, the other ones, you want to keep, of course, the layer you're working on not transparent, so you can see fully what you're doing. Make just nothing complex, just a cute sort of Courage the Cowardly Dog. And I will create a line at the top of the arm so I can fill the color, and I'll make it orange as well. And then delete the line we created to fill it. So then it will sort of go seamlessly into the rest of his body. I'll highlight the arm, go to Modify, Convert to Symbol, and then I'll put Fox Front Arm. And you want to put the looping to single frame, and then press Q, and then you want to take this middle thing like we did with the head and pull it over here to where the arm connects to the body as the rotation point. Now that we've done that, we will lock this layer, and then we'll create a layer that we'll put under everything and make it the other arm, because it'll sort of be behind everything. Call that back arm. I'll turn everything else to vectors for a moment. Create the back arm, make it look similar. You know, it looks a little bit bizarre, actually, almost. Pardon me, but it sort of looks phallic, like a PANIS word over here. So, you know what, unless the arm sticks out, I'm just going to have it behind. You won't even see it for now, but just so that we have a reference point when we want to have the arm come out, you know, later like that or something, for some expression, for some dialogue, once we start animating. And just like the last, we want to highlight the layer, modify, convert to symbol, fox, back arm will be the name, and put the looping to single frame, and highlight the layer, press Q, and move the rotation point in the center over to where the arm connects to the body. Alright, now we've just got to do the legs. I usually just keep them both in one layer. You can do it differently if you'd like. Sometimes for walk cycles it can actually help to keep them separate, but I'll do a separate video on sort of walking and how to make characters move. This is more just for sort of character dialogue and more basic things like that. So, and it's better to get started like this and then sort of move on to more complicated things like walk cycles. So for now, let's just create the legs in one layer. And we'll put that in front of the body. We'll have them come out in front here. It's sort of like a cute little ragdoll. This depends on the character. You can sometimes have it in front. If I was making a person wearing trousers and wanted the tummy to stick out, I would actually put it behind. Like that. Because then the belly comes in front. But for this character, he's actually just a cute little animal. And the legs sort of protrude in front there. And he'll sort of ride on this carriage the cowardly dog thing and sort of just have his legs be cute little helpless strings of sorts. And fill. Use the line to cover there. Help us do our color fill. Delete the lines. Oh, wait a second. Here's white over there. What am I doing? Alright, maybe I will have these go behind. Yes, I always envisioned his legs being orange, not white. Alright. Now, I will give him a tail as well. Your character, more likely than not, doesn't have a tail unless you're doing an animal. But I'm going to add a tail and put it behind everything else. Put it as tail. And I'll quickly draw that. I do use the lines there to sort of do a similar thing I did for his face. And I will fill the colors. Do orange here and just leave it white up here. And now I will highlight the tail.
Modify, convert to symbol, fox tail. And then I will set the pivot point to be right there where it connects to his bum. And there we are. We have our character all ready to go. And actually, one last thing you want to do is go to the outermost. So when you're in the layer here, you want to go up again to the layers bar and click to the outermost layer. And this is all of Fox. This is principal exterior layer of containing all the other layers. And you want to click the pivot point and put it down to his feet. So later when he's talking, just to move the whole body together if we want, we can sort of have him bob back and forth. But we'll focus more on that when we get to the animation.
Well, that does it for this part. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something today. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment. I will do my best to answer all of them. Or you can hit me up, as they say, on social media. And be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for part 2, where we will do backgrounds, and part 3, where we'll do the animation itself. Until next time, I am Lhugueny. Have a beautiful day.